My cousin stole my scholarship money. Guys, today I have one of the most twisted stories for you that I've read in quite some time. And it's a very elaborate one. I can't wait to get into this. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's get started with My Cousin Stole My Money. My name's Theo. I'm a 21-year-old, a full-grown man, I guess, and I just bagged a full-fledged scholarship for college. The day I received the congratulatory mail from college I applied to has been the best day of my life thus far. I felt so fulfilled because applying for this scholarship came into a whole lot of uncertainty and nervousness. I applied like every other person, like the other thousands of people. I knew I wasn't the best candidate, but I applied anyways. I was low-key scared of getting rejected, but to my surprise, I got called up. It wasn't just any college, it was my dream college. My parents were genuinely happy too, and my parents were the kind of parents that were hard to please. They don't know how to thank you after rendering a service for them, nor do they know how to cheer you up or gas you up when you have a major win. I grew up with those types of parents, and I've gotten used to their ways. Seeing them happy and celebrating with me was just a major win. We weren't rich, we were just comfortable. Aside from my parents, the whole of their family believed solely in this mantra, quote, "Mind your business and I'll mind mine." They just really don't know how to make friends in my family. And as much as our family as a whole gives a cold shoulder, I love the fact that they believe in workings. This has served as a major contributor to my story. When I first told my parents that I applied for the scholarship, they didn't pay much attention to me. Their belief was that I would have to go out there and work, raise money for college, and pay without their help. They can act like they didn't birth me. When I won this scholarship, it was a major win and achievement knowing where I came from. They were not willing to support the dream. But when my scholarship clicked, there was a need for me to just report to the school the following month. Everything happened so fast. I told my parents about the need for me to report to the school soon. I was surprised when my parents sat me down. They gave me some amount of money, and that was the last thing I expected from them. Each penny from them was worth it. They gave me some money and told me I should not make them regret doing that. I have 4 other siblings, so if I mess up, they have others to focus on. I was determined to make them proud. I used the whole of the month to source the funds and also get some necessary things from school. Everyone was happy for me. Of course, they should be. I planned for everything else but accommodations. The scholarship package did not come with the hostel accommodation, and I now know how costly it is to rent an apartment. There was no one to turn to for help. My siblings, too, were already brainwashed by my parents, my topic point of view. I wouldn't blame them. We were all trained to be that way for years. The following month came, and I went to school. I was always going to school from home, but I didn't plan to do that for the years that I would spend in that school. But it would save me some time, till I could get an apartment at least. Deciding to go home from school was not the easiest decision, but I had no choice. I was taking everything in, bits by bits. The whole college atmosphere was new to me. I was tempted to take my scholarship fee, which was remitted to an account created by the school. I have access to it now since I took ownership already. I was tempted to just take some dollars from it and get an apartment. I felt I could always work to return the money before they needed to pay my tuition fee. This thought was strong that I was going to take this step, until my father told me my cousin stays in my school area. I felt relieved a little bit, to be honest. If I could not live with my cousin could at least help me search for a cheap apartment to live in. I was slurping up on coffee in the early hours of the morning when my phone rang. It was an unknown caller. I picked up knowing fully well that anybody might want to be speaking with me. I was a scholarship student, and so maybe someone had to talk. I picked up and a female's voice came out from the other end of the phone. She asked if this was on to Theo. I said, "Yes, this is Theo." She said she was Aura, my cousin. I was happy upon hearing that. She asked if I was alone, and I said yes, she should go on. She told me her father, who was my uncle, told her about my apartment search. I confirmed that, And she told me she's actually paid 6 months up front for her apartment. I told her that's great, and a whole lot of money too. She said there's a backstory though. She's not comfortable telling me right now, but she said that will give me the address to the apartment and I can move in. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, so I was happy, but the way she was talking was a little fishy. I told her I could not wait to meet her, but she took a long time before she replied. Then she said likewise. Well, we weren't so close, so I expected the attitude from her. I didn't think much of it. After all, we were all raised to be far apart from each other. In fact, I never cared to know if I had a cousin somewhere, not until now at least. All of her family were so distant from each other. We could pass for not having any family at all. I was even surprised my parents spoke to my uncle about me needing to have the accommodation. They were not ones to let people in on what was going on with them anyways. I told Aura I would be moving in the following weekend. She said it's fine and I should be careful. I told her I've never been a troublemaker, and she sighed. She was being really funny. All I needed to do was sleep, wake up, go to school, and I just wasn't going to disturb her. Women are so complicated. I finally packed all my belongings and I was ready to set out. It was an emotional moment for me, yes, but not because I was going to leave my family behind or because I was going into a strange place fully. I was emotional because I never knew this day would come. Humanly speaking, it was impossible. But look at me now, ready to dive into the world of education fully? The reality was finally setting in and it was hitting me hard. I followed the address and got to the apartment and was really in the motivation that I needed. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. So this story is a little unique. It was written in a diary format. The next update is update number 1 and it's 2 weeks after moving in with Aura. I could remember the first day and the first time I set my eyes on her. I rang the doorbell and this petite lady, about 24 years of age, came out to answer me. She gave off the vibe of someone that was not expecting anybody. I was surprised to read that expression on her face, to be honest, and I said, "Hey, it's Theo." And I reminded her we spoke the other day. I told her she said I could move in and even gave me the address. Suddenly she smiled and said, "Oh, yes, I forgot. I remember you now." She asked me what I called my name again. I said, it's Theo. Aura was really just a lot to take in. What was that for? Why did she ask like that? She acted the same way she did on the phone. We were just meeting for the first time and I was getting that from her already? Anyways, she helped me in my box. She did not allow me to sit for long before she asked me to tell her about myself. Well, I saw that as an attempt to probably get to know me. Well, enough of the attitude, right? I told her, as she knows, her father was my uncle, so technically we're cousins. And then she said, "Oh wow, we're cousins." Her attitude was so off. I didn't know what to make of it at first, and I further went on to tell her that I just gained admission to college, and actually I've won a scholarship. This was a huge achievement for me, so I wanted everyone to know, and I mean everyone. I hope I wasn't making a mistake by telling people about my win. She seemed like she was happy for me, and then she asked if I've paid my tuition already. I told her I haven't, and I still have it in my account. She smiled, and I said that was enough information about me. She should tell me about herself. Well, she said that she was just there, and there was nothing much about her. Quite unfair. I literally told her everything about me just now. She welcomed me to the house and told me she'd hoped that we would not be getting into each other's way. I told her, well, sorry, but that's not possible, since, I'm cool and I would really do well just being a gentle neighbor, or should I say flatmate. She stood up abruptly and she said that she needed to go somewhere. She showed me to my room and she left. I don't know, this is weird. I just needed to eat something, but there's nothing in the kitchen. I thought of calling Aura. I could have used her help since she was outside. Maybe she could get me something to eat, so I called her phone number. That was the number she gave me at least the other day. I dialed the number, but to no avail. although I've never tried to call her ever since the last time she called. I kept on dialing the number and it seemed like it was just pouring water into a basket. I gave up and I waited for her to come back home. I could have gone out to get food myself, but I didn't know anywhere. I needed to be extra careful that Aura did not come home that night, and I thought that was a nice welcome from her. I slept on an empty stomach though that night. It was the weekend the following day, and I still did not get to see Aura. She was such a mysterious person. I knew I needed to do something. Step out, ask around. Hunger was not going to kill me. If I should go out, what about locking the door? I knew I was in for a long ride. I couldn't go out. I kept on praying to God to bring Aura home to me. All I did the whole day was stare at email after emails. And then I watched some movies too, and I also sourced material online for my course. Aura finally came home, and I was so happy. Luckily for me, she's brought some groceries with her. Maybe she wasn't as bad as I thought, and she told me I'll need to pay her for the groceries she's bought since we live together, so we need to share things in half. I told her, hey, that's not a big deal, I do have some money. She asked if I knew how to cook. I told her yes, and I prepared our meal. While we were eating, I tried to initiate conversations with her, but she just shrugged everything off. What a girl! I remember I tried reaching her earlier, so I told her to give her contact that was available. I told her I called the same number she used the other day, but no answer. It took a moment before she replied to me, and she said she no longer uses that number, that she would also give me her current one. My 2-week stay with Aura was crazy, yet eventful. I haven't even started school fully yet, so I had time to see her excesses. The days that she would stay home, she would be locked up in her room. I've tried to know what on earth that she's always up to up there, but I agreed to respect her privacy. There were days that she would come home with some guys. She would introduce me to them, and the craziest day was the day she came in with the guy. She told him to meet Theo, her cousin. The guy said, "Oh, your cousin? Really?" And they both laughed. I had to look at myself twice. Was I smelling, or I wasn't dressed well? Why would she allow some random guy to laugh at her cousin? She was as weird as the guy, though. She's a total weirdo. The guy said, "It's nice to meet you, our cousin." Our cousin? How many of you cousins? I just played it off. I wasn't ready to get kicked out, so I played it off quickly. A lot's happened in just 2 weeks, and I knew I might not last a year or two under the same roof with Aura. I might need to buckle down and move out as soon as possible. I'm talking a maximum of 6 months. Aura asked me if I do talk with her parents, and I told her I don't. I further asked if she was close to her parents, since I wasn't close to mine. She said not really. She said she's an adult and she doesn't really care about keeping a close relationship with family. She was asking me questions as if she wanted to know if I knew so much about her. Well, I didn't know much about her, nor do I know her thing about her family. If there's one thing I've noticed about Aura, it's the fact that she was off and weird. I thought my siblings were weird. Oh man, Aura is weirder. Update number 2. It's been a month. A month of my life in a new place has been eventful with Aura, to say the least. My cousin, as a case study, we've been getting along as would expect the families to be. We were just simply doing our things individually. Aura came home after 2 days of being absent at home. She asked if I was busy with my laptop as she needs to use it. It was quite unexpected, but I was really happy and willing to lend it to her. She's never asked me for a thing, and her asking me seemed good, aside from being willing to lend her some stuff. I couldn't wait for school to start. To be honest, I've been going to school to get familiar with the environment, but I needed to be occupied with school work. It was getting boring, and I just needed some ginger. I told Aura I needed to close some files and that I would be done in about 20 minutes' time. She was really impatient, and I just hoped I've not offended her. While I was on my laptop, she asked if I was trying to pay my tuition fee. I told her I wasn't, and the money's still in the bank. I told her I needed school to fully start, and that would be in about 3 weeks. She said okay. I finished whatever thing I was doing on it and I handed it over to her. Aura took the laptop out of my sight and said that she was going out with it. I asked her when she would be back as I need it. Aura said she'd be on night duty and she would not be coming home until the following morning. Oh, that's quite alright, I guess. She left the house and I used the moment to speak with my parents. It's been a long time since we last spoke. Actually, we last spoke the day I left home for school. I called my mother and she answered after the first ring. We weren't the type to show emotion, so we exchanged pleasantries formally, and she asked if I was settling in well with my cousin. I told her I was, although we're not so close. She told me to just focus up on my reason for being there, and no one needs to be close to me, or no one or two things about me. Too much is too much. My mother said I should mind my business and face my studies. I asked after father, and she hands the phone to him. This man just said, "Oh, make yourself proud, I'm out here." What kind of man is he? They all have the same blood running in them. I dropped the call and went to the school's website. I tried to see if I could get one or two pieces of information on the website, and I actually got one. It was about the tuition fees. We were to pay up as soon as possible, and that wasn't a headache for me since I had my money intact. At least, we still have about 2 to 3 weeks to get things done. There wasn't much going on for me. My laptop was really my companion, and I've leased it out. It wasn't coming back to me for 24 hours' time. So I made dinner for myself and I ate. I forgot to mention, among my siblings, I was much more closer to my younger sister. She was the last child of the family, so technically, I happened to be her immediately older brother. My younger sister wasn't crazy about school, but she believed she could learn anything and everything online. She was really doing well for herself, as she was more serious with her online education than people attending physical classes. I loved it for her. Everyone cannot go to school, and she was one of those people. My younger sister was a genius that personally I believe school would not contain to her. We don't talk to each other much, but the times we do, we were always inseparable. Update number 3, my laptop. Aura brought my laptop back as promised, and she thanked me and said it was really useful to her. My cousin was thanking me. I wanted more of it. She went into her room and locked herself in as usual, so I opened up my laptop and I tried to get things done on it. My laptop was barely responding. First of all, it took a long time to turn on, and when it finally did, it was giving off signals that I didn't understand. I kept on waiting, and it wasn't acting like this before. I believe Aura never tampered with it. I was still trying to find my way around it when the screen started displaying black and white. Some features I don't understand. It took a while for it to register in my head that it was showing signs of a virus. How come? There was nothing of such on it yesterday. I didn't want to ask Aura about it, but she asked me to lend her something for the first time, and I was about to start complaining about the thing. I felt it was something I could handle, but I realized I couldn't. I had a second thoughts about telling Aura. I summoned the courage to ask her what's wrong, and Aura took forever to open up her door. I noticed she was just waking up when she opened the door. I apologized for disrupting her sleep, and I went straight to the reason to reach out to her. I told her my laptop was giving me some odd signals. She said she noticed it too when she wanted to use it at the time. Something was telling me Aura was lying. My laptop was perfectly fine when I gave it to her. She said although it was acting somehow, she was still able to use it, and she does not know what exactly went wrong. I was heartbroken. What if my laptop was not working now forever? How would I raise money to buy a new one? Personally, I was struggling with what to do. Aura probably read my expression. She told me she knew someone that could get it fixed for me, and I was happy with the information. I told her to give me a description of said person. She declined, but said that she would take the laptop personally. I told her I would accompany her, but she disagrees. She told me she was going to pay too. That was too much to take in. She would think I was doing that to her because she used my laptop. I had no choice. I told her it was fine. We set out to go to repair my laptop. Where we went to, according to my calculation, was like a 40-minute drive. We got there and Aura exchanged pleasantries with some dude. They seemed to know each other. We started our business and the guy said that it was working on it. I was told to go sit somewhere, and Aura was inside with the guy. I was just really hoping my laptop would work. I didn't hear anything from her or the duo for about 20 minutes, so I grew impatient and I had to call out to Aura. She told me they were almost done and the guy only needed to install some things on the laptop. I told her I wanted to see what he was doing. After all, it's my laptop. I entered and I saw what he was doing. About 20 minutes later, my laptop came back to life. I was so happy and I thanked both of them. Aura paid the guy and then, well, we just left the apartment. We got home and I apologized to Aura for causing her stress. She told me not to worry. I would have helped her if she was in my shoes too. The day went by faster and I could not stop thinking about what happened earlier. What if there was no solution to the problem? What if Aura did not lend a helping hand? I started to think and I needed to repay her for her kindness. I checked everything on my laptop, and although I lost some of my most recent files, but they weren't important files, everything else on the laptop was intact, such that one would not even believe the laptop was faulty a few hours ago. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So guys, let me just tell you right now, this next update is absolutely insane. I hope you guys are enjoying this saga story. Update number 4 is coming. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for daily stories, and let's see what's going on with this roller coaster update. It's been 3 weeks after the issue with my laptop, and I finally resumed school fully. I already put in for my tuition fee to be paid automatically since I've never even touched the wallet. I resumed school like every other student. Aura was still living with her as written. The only thing I noticed was that she smiled more at me, and she just never allowed a moment to pass without her cracking a joke. It was a great development, honestly. The academic calendar kick-started and we were about to take some tests. Only students with no outstanding tuition fees were allowed to write the test. I knew I was clean since I put it in for my tuition fee to be paid auto. After I registered for the test, I was emailed something. My tuition fee's not paid. How come? I quickly put my laptop onto the check account, where I met that there was something beyond my knowledge. There was nothing left in my account. The whole scholarship grant was gone. At first, I thought it was gone because I paid my tuition, but no, the school informed me that the tuition was indeed not paid. What could have gone wrong? I did not touch this money. It's been sitting there comfortably, and I want to know what happened. I dialed Aura's number to ask her where she was. She said she's at work. I told her to please give her the address of her friend, the one who repaired my laptop. She asked me what's wrong. I told her my scholarship grant is gone. She went silent. She told me she wasn't going to release her friend's address. She questioned if I was trying to manipulate his friend and to the whole thing. She said I was accusing her friend of stealing my money. I told her I never said that. I only need to confirm something with him. She hung up on me, and I knew something was up. Who do I turn to? I don't even know how to cry. I wanted to scream, but I held myself back. I immediately went to the bus station. I just needed to go home. Maybe I would be able to figure something out. I got home to meet the whole house empty. Aura was gone. I looked and searched for Aura everywhere, but I couldn't find anyone that looked like her. I dialed her number. Nothing. I was walking around the house like a mad person. I just wanted to beat myself hard when I saw a man walking towards the home. I've never seen this man before, and he asked me who I was. I told him I was Aura's cousin. I asked him who he was. He told me that he owns the house. Whew, I was a bit relaxed. I told him Aura moved out of the house already, and I told him she did not even inform me beforehand, and asked him if he has any other way I could reach her. He smiled and said he hoped I wasn't referring to the crazy girl as Aura. I told him I knew Aura was crazy, but I need to find her now. She just moved out. The landlord then told me this. Aura lived out of the house months ago, and the girl was referring to as Aura was actually the bane of real Aura's existence. I didn't understand anything he was saying, though. He said the girl I'm referring to as Aura was not Aura. He said my name was Brittany. What exactly was he saying? He said the girl sent Aura packing and he really doesn't know how this transpired between them. All he knew was that Aura was really scared of Brittany. I didn't know what to do or how to react to this information, so I picked up my phone to first of all inform my parents. They were also shocked at the news. I just had to explain over and over again because they didn't understand what I was trying to tell them. My parents reached out to my uncle too. They told him the same thing I told them. It was hard for my uncle to believe that we were telling him someone else has been using his daughter's identity. The most shocking thing was that Aura really did call me months ago. She gave me the address to her house. What could be wrong now? My money's gone. My life's about to be paused. What do I do? I was so messed up and done for. Everything started to add up. The first time Aura spoke with me on the phone, she asked if I was alone. She sounded unsure, but she could have told me. She switched off her phone after that day, and see what my life has turned into? I was so hurt. The first day I went to the address, the lady I met looked as if she wasn't expecting me. She wasn't Aura after all. Brittany played along. Brittany played me. Brittany scammed me. I told her everything about me, and now my money's gone. What if Aura and Brittany are in on this? Together? Update number 5, final update. I started looking so tattered. I've been living with a scammer. I've been living with a fraudster. My parents weren't interested in any of this. I was only trying to turn their unbelieving spirit into a believing one. Look what I've turned into. Life is cruel. Why exactly do bad things happen to good people? My younger sister heard about everything that happened. I was told to come home. Anything might happen if I chose to stay back in that apartment, so I went home. My sister was a wizard on technology, so she inspected my laptop and she discovered that those fraudsters, what they did. I gave her both Aura's and Brittany's numbers and she started tracking both of them. I made sure I reported the case to the police and they were on the case too. I worked so hard to win the scholarship, but it all went down the drain. Aura's parents reached out to her too, and all she could say was she's sorry. She said Brittany was an old friend who was blackmailing her. She said Brittany had some explicit pictures of her and Aura, and she threatened to release the pictures if they fell out. Aura said she tried reporting the blackmail to the police, but she thought of her reputation. And the internet never forgets. And if her pictures ever got leaked, that would be the end of the road for her. She said that she begged Brittany with everything she had until Brittany told her she was going to settle by taking her apartment. She said Brittany further went on to tell her that if she tried to act funny, she would meet herself on the World Wide Web. Well, she said all of that and it scared her, and she had to run far away. She said she's really sorry for causing me to struggle now, and Aura said that there's no way she would have come out clean from the start. She said she doesn't want her parents to know about any of this. I did feel sorry for her, but my life was now gone too. My sister finally located where Brittany was. Yep, found her. My money might not come out, but she needed to be punished for all her sins. You don't blackmail people you once called your friends, and even if you fall out with them, you don't hurt people by taking the most precious things away from them. I've always known her to be weird, but she acted her role so well that I could not see through her. The police finally got a hold of Brittany. She was made to list the names of her co-offenders. Everything the liar owned was seized. As I wrote, Brittany is now cooling off in a jail cell. Not only with her butt together with her friends, I'm determined to start from scratch. The downfall of a man is not the end of one's life. This time I promised myself to be more careful and vigilant. I've started learning about programming from my younger sister. I would still go to school though. I only need a break. For now. I'm just glad this Brittany character got what she deserved in the end. The entire time when OP went to her house and she said that she was Aura, I had a weird feeling about her. She had so many red flags and she just seemed straight up creepy. I mean, who's not expecting a visitor when you know your cousin Theo is literally coming here to live with you today? Anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this story. What were your exact thoughts the moment that you met Brittany, or should I say, or Aurora? Alright, drop your comments down below, guys. If you're new to the channel, hello, my name's Mr. Reddito. I read stories every single day of some of the most dramatic stories on the World Wide Web. If that's something you're into, consider subscribing, smashing that like story video, and come back tomorrow for another set of stories. Have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.